Want to build a piano using JavaScript and HTML and CSS, and I want it to look something like this, where you have some white keys and some black keys, and if you roll over them, they will play a noise. And I want them to light up when they're being played, so you know which one is being played. Let's get to that. We're in Dreamweaver. Instead of Dreamweaver, we could be in NetBeans, or any IDE will do. We could just be in a text document. I'm going to start off by making my HTML. HTML is what the internet runs on. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It allows us to make web pages. We're going to make a new document, and I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to make a new folder for it. Let's save that on the desktop. So Desktop, new folder, and I'm going to call this Piano and create. In here, I'm just going to call this piano.html and save. Its title, make the title Piano. If we run that, we're going to see a page that looks like blank, but it's got the word piano in it. The next thing, I want to put some keys on the screen. To get some keys, we could go and take a picture of a piano, or you could use any kind of image you like. I think I'm just going to take an image of my desktop. I've got this image on my desktop of a sandy beach, so I'm just going to Shift-Command-4 to take a picture, and we'll save that to the desktop. So I'm just going to make the white sand one of the white keys, like that. Shift-Command-4 to get one of my black keys. I'm going to just take a picture of the blue water. That goes onto my desktop right here, screenshot. So I'm just going to call this one blackkey.png. It automatically going to make PNGs, and this will be my white key. .png. So something very simple. You can use pictures of yourself, or you can use pictures of anything. I'm just going to drag them into the piano document. Inside my piano document, my piano folder, I'm going to make a folder called Images and another folder called Audio. Like that. We could call it Sounds. It doesn't really matter what you call it. And desktop. I'm going to drag these images into my image folder, back into our HTML. I'm going to make some things called divs, which are divisions of the screen. These divisions of the screen are going to allow us to position these images. I'm going to make something called a div. To identify that div later on, I'm going to make something called an ID. So the ID is going to be, this will be my C note. So I'm going to call it C _ div. That'll be my div that will hold my C, something like that. Then the image, put img. This ID will be just a white key. The alt, if it doesn't show up, or if somebody is looking at this page using a reader, if they're blind, the alt describes what the image is. A picture of a white key on a piano. That's the alt. And then I'm going to put this source, so src. That is going to be in our images, slash, and then white key, so white key.png. And then we put a slash and close like that. Whoa, what did I do wrong? I didn't close the quotes, and then space, a slash, and the closing bracket, which is really a greater than symbol. Then we're going to close that div, slash div, like that. All right, let's save that and see what that looks like. Okay, there's our white key. We want to have several of those. Copy that. So div ID is a CD, or C div with our another white key inside it. Let's see what that looks like. They're one on top of each other, which is automatically how they come out. We want to use something called CSS. It stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And what CSS does is it makes the page look nice. It provides us with ways of making our images look good, of making our fonts different, making our text different, to make things look nice. So that's what CSS does for us. I'm going to go to File, New. I'm going to create a new CSS document. I'm going to save that as piano.css, like that. These divs, I want to be able to move them around. So I'm just going to copy where it says cdiv, and in my CSS, I'm going to put hashtag, which the hashtag means we're looking at the instance of our cdiv. We're looking at specifically this object. There are other things we can do. I don't want to bore you with all that. We're just going to put it in a bracket like that, and I'm going to tell it that the position is going to be absolute, so we can tell it exactly where to go. Relative is standard. Relative is they're just relative to each other, and this is what we're seeing here. This is relative positioning. It positions one div on top of the next, so it builds them like columns. We want to use absolute positioning, like that. We could tell it where to go. The top of our image, let's say we're going to put it at 100 pixels, and let's say the left. So we're going to put it at 100 pixels from the left, and it's blue because I forgot to put my semicolon here and semicolon to end the line. Let's see what that looks like. So let's save that. And then if I press refresh, it doesn't look any different. The reason it doesn't look any different is because it doesn't know that we're using this piano.css. We need to tell it that we're using piano.css. So back here, just underneath the header, we're going to put a link, a relative link to our style sheet. href, this is how we find it, is equal to, so the name of it is piano, but we could also browse for it too, piano.css. This tells the HTML that we're using a style sheet, and it's called piano.css. If we save that and go back here, and as soon as we press refresh, this one, the top one, the C note, has moved over to here. And I want to put the D note right beside it. Back into our CSS, I'm just going to copy this for my D div. Instead of being left 100, let's put it at 150. Let's save that back into here and run. Here's my C note, here's my D note. Yeah, they're a bit far apart. I can make this piano key a little bit wider. This is for the div. Now for the image, let's go back into our HTML. We could say, let's make our white key. I'm just gonna copy white key, back over to here, hashtag white key. I want that image to have a width. The width is equal to 48 pixels, px for pixels, semicolon, dth. We want the width to be 48 pixels, and I used an equals where I shouldn't. It should be a colon, like that. Okay, now everything's the right colors. Save that, back over to here, and watch what happens. By just specifying the width, the height is also gonna get longer, right? So if I refresh, you see how much longer it got? So it kept them proportional. If I want them to be proportional, then I can just leave it like that, or I can specify, well, I want the height to be 185 pixels. Save that and refresh. Something like that. Here's my C, D, I'm gonna put my E, F, G in all of those. So I'm just gonna copy that for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and high C. Let's change all those. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. I'm gonna call this one C high. This one's at 100, this one's at 150, this one should be at 200, this one 250, 300, and 350, 400, and 450. Let's save that. In the HTML, we have to tell it that we want to make all of those divs with all of those images. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C high. Let's save that back over here. Refresh. We should see all of our notes. Good. If I click on one of those notes, I want it to play a sound. Also, I want my black keys in. So let's go and do the same thing for the black keys, which are going to be my C sharp. C, I'm going to put S for sharp. This is going to be our image ID is going to be a black key. And this is going to be a picture of a black key on a piano, and the image will be blackkey.png. We have the C sharp, D sharp, there's no E sharp, there's an F sharp, G, and A sharp. F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. We need to position those. So let's go back into our CSS, copy my C div for my sharps down here. It's going to be absolute. The top is going to be a little bit higher, so let's try that at 50 pixels, and let's try this at 125. Let's see what that looks like. Save that and run. Here's the first one. I just need to move it over a little bit, maybe bring it down a little tiny bit. I'm gonna move it over left 130. Let's move it down a little bit from 50 to 7. Save that, refresh. That's a little bit better. Maybe we need to move it over 5 more pixels, 135. Save that and refresh. Okay, it's a little bit far. Let's try 133. Save that and refresh. That's pretty much what I want it to be. Let's put the other keys in place. That's my C sharp div, my A, B, C, D sharp. Pop that over by 50, so that's going to be 183. We're going to put the next one in. It's going to skip 2, let's say 283. F sharp, G sharp at, this should be 283. And this should be 333, and then 383 for the F sharp. Let's try those. E, F, G, A sharp, sorry, for the A sharp. That should be at 383. Let's try that and see if it works. Refresh. Now we need these things to do some stuff when we actually click on them. Let's do that with our JavaScript. I'm going to go File, New. This is going to be a JavaScript document. Right away I'm going to save that. So save as piano.js. I'm going to make a function that's going to play a note. Well, let's get the C note to work first. So I'm going to make a var. I'm going to call it my C sound. So C and then SND for sound. And it's going to be a new audio semicolon. We're going to tell it the source. So csound.source, src in audio. Slash, these are going to be my sounds. We have to record some sounds. And I'll show you how I recorded those in a different video. In audio, I have nothing right. I have all my sounds here. I'm just going to drag them over. I'm holding the Alt to copy. Here are all my sounds. They're called C, and then I have C high, and I have C sharp. Let's go back audio, and it's going to be my C.mp3 to close the quotes, semicolon. I want to make a function called play sound. Play note. This is going to be a function. I'm going to write function play note. So we're going to send it an argument, and we'll talk about that in a second. Just for now, I'm just going to make a function just called play note without an argument, and it's just going to play our C sound. It's going to say csound.play. So that's all it's going to do. We have our sound, and then we tell it to play. Then in the HTML, we have to tell it to use the way we told it to use the CSS, but slightly different. We put in a script tag, script. Then we're going to say that the source of that script, src, is equal to piano.js. The type, we should also tell it the type of script. It's going to be type is equal to text/JavaScript. Close the quotes, then leave a space, then we're going to close the script. When we press on the C image, tell it to play. So I'm going to put on click is equal to, in quotes, I'm going to put play note. Tell it play the C note. I can't use a quote inside a quote, doesn't like that. So I'm going to just use a single apostrophe quote like that. So play note C. Save that. Let's try and run it. It doesn't like something. Let's find out what it doesn't like. I'm in Chrome, so I'm going to go to View, I'm going to Developer, and I'm going to go to the JavaScript console, which will tell me what the error is. It can't find piano.js is the problem. Let's go back to our... I didn't close the quotes here. Close the quote, there we go. Save all that, refresh, here we are. And then if we click on the C, it's played a sound. One of the things I'd like to make this change color a little bit in our JavaScript. When we play a sound, we could tell the C note in the HTML. We have our div, set the div background to a different color in our JavaScript. To get to that div, I have to use a command called document. So document.getElementById, like that. I'm after my cdiv. GetElementById gets this thing from our HTML or from our web page. We're gonna set the style of its background. So the style is like the CSS, and the background, I'm gonna make that yellow. Save that. Let's see what happens when we run that. Okay. Yeah, we can't see the change in that. We need to make the key less opaque, make it a bit see-through. The problem is all these white keys are named white key. And make the white key transparent. The problem is going to make all the white keys transparent. Save that. Let's try that again. That's not bad. It didn't seem to make the other ones transparent. When it's finished playing, we want it to go back to normal. We can add a listener to our C sound. So C sound add event listener, add event listener. We're listening for when the sound is ended. When it's ended, I'm going to go to a function called note over. How do we know which note is over? So we're going to have to say note over, how about C note over? C note over, like that. We'll talk about arguments in a second. We're going to make a function called C note over. C note over. What it is going to do is it's going to set the background back to white and the opacity back to 1. Let's see what that looks like. So save that and run that. When I click, there we go, it goes back to normal. We need to get that to work for the D. When we play the note, how can we tell the difference between the C and the D? This is where the argument comes in. So I'm going to make a variable called note. I'm going to say if the note, if brackets, note is equal to C, like the word C, then we're going to play our C note. I'm going to put an else or else, and the else actually saves us a bit of time because, like, let's say we have 11 notes. If we have to check all 11 notes each time, like let's say that we're playing C. C is our first note out of the 11 that we're going to check. So we check to see if C is being pressed, and it is, so we play C. That means we shouldn't bother checking for has D been pressed. That's what the else does for us. If I just remove that and said the note is equal to D, play the D. So we would have to check each one. We'd have to check the C, then we would, even though the C was the one being played, we would check the D, the E, the F, the G. So the else stops us from doing that. So if we find the right note, then the else tells us to stop checking. Or else, if the D has been sent, then we should play the D sound. Now we don't have a D sound, so I'm just gonna copy all of this stuff for the D. D sound, new audio, D sound is D.mp3. Our D sound add event listener, go to D note over. We're sending a argument, we're sending the note's name. So whether we're playing a C or a D. If we play a D, we want to play our D sound. Let's see if that works. It plays our C fine, but not our D. Let's go and see why. All our code here seems to be intact. Let's go over here, and right, we don't have anything in the code telling us to play the D. So let's copy this from the C, and we'll paste that for the D. Let's try that out. Save that, refresh. When we clicked on it, it made our C note light, but it played the right note, but it didn't light up the right note. Back into our JavaScript. So we're telling it very specifically to do that thing with the C div. Instead of doing that with the C div, let's put in whatever the note is and the div, right? So if we want to play if the note is C, we'll just add the note here, then add that to the word underscore div, and that should do the right thing. Let's save that and try it out. If we click, there's an error. Play note, HTML element on click, piano HTML, something is not defined. Piano JavaScript 19, not, should be note. Save that. And that's what it was trying to say. It was saying not is not defined, and that was a bit confusing. Let's refresh this and try again. It made this one lighter. We're going to have to tell each of the images to be defined on their own in the HTML. Instead of calling this white key, we'll call it the C key and D key, and E key and F key, and G key, and A key, B key, and C high key, C sharp key, D sharp key, F sharp key, G sharp key, A sharp key. Let's see what that looks like. Let's save all that, and we might have to change something in our CSS. What we'll do is we'll make a class for all the white keys. A class, we put a period in front of it. White key, that will be our class. Back in our HTML, we will put in a class. Class is going to be equal to, open quotes, close quotes, and in those quotes I'm going to put the word white key. I will put that class in all the white keys. Let's copy that with the spaces. So I'm just going to click in front of the alt in each case and paste that in. For my sharps, I'm going to use a class called black key. Let's copy that and continue down here. Let's save that. When we go into here, we're telling the key. Now the key isn't called white key anymore, it's called C key. It's going to be the variable note plus the word key. Okay, so if we're playing the C note, it's C key. If we're playing the D note, it's D key. Let's see how that works. Save that and try that out. If I click on the D key, excellent. Of course, it didn't disappear when we were finished. This one disappears. We have this problem. We have audio C note over, style of null. We don't have a white key anymore. So it is, let's get rid of this. Let's call this, how about just note over, lowercase n. Let's just go to note over. This is an event listener, so it can figure out, like, I'd like to give my C sound a property called name. The name is going to be just the sound, the name of the note. It's equal to C. In here, what we could do here, let's get rid of that. And over here, we could say our event, VT for event, note is event.target.name. It should say C. Let's try that out. Run that, click on that. So when it gets finished playing, it'll say, we are in note over, note is C. Ta-da! Okay, cannot read property style of null at piano 27. Let's see what that's all about. But 27, this white key doesn't exist anymore. So now we can figure out what div we're in. I can make a variable. I'm just going to call it note, and that is going to be equal to our event target.name. Then instead of telling the C div to have a background of white, we can tell the note, add that to underscore div. It will make the right div have a background of white. Instead of white key, it was C key. It was C or D key if it was D. So it's going to be note plus the key. Let's see how that works. Let's run that. We press the C. Plays the note. then it should go back to normal. Good, that worked fine. Let's try this one. Didn't do it. Why? Because we didn't give our D sound a name. Our D sound's name should be D, and that should say D sound dot name is D. Then if we go back to here and run that, and invisible, it still seems to think our note is C. We didn't give it a listener. We need to add the event listener. D sound, add event listener. When it's ended, go to note over. Let's try that again. We are in the note over and the note is D. We're in the note over and it should say C. Good. So that works perfectly fine. Let's get it to work for all the white notes because these ones don't work yet. Back into our HTML. On click, tell it what note to play. Just at the end here, I'm going to paste that over and over again, and then change all the D's to the other notes, E, F, G, A, B, and then high C or C high. This is going to be C sharp, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. Save that back into here. We need these variables for each sound that we're playing. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, let's get it working for E and F. Else, if note is E, E sound play. Let's get it for the F as well. F, F sound play. Let's save that. Anything else unsaved? Nope. Let's run that. So E, and it disappears. Good. Oh, this one's playing the E as well. Here's the mistake. We're looking at E instead of F. There's the F. Save that, run that. So E, F, and then it disappears. And then when we click on G, it never disappears because it never plays. So we need to go and fix that. Also, here's something. If I click, it won't play again until it's over. If I want it to play like a note twice in a row, it should be able to allow me to do that. Tell it to pause that sound. So it's C sound dot pause, and then reset the note. The note plays for a certain amount of time. We can reset that time to 0. So C sound dot current time equals 0. So that resets it to the beginning of the sound, and then it plays. So let's try that and press refresh. Now that works fine. We need that for all of the notes. I'm just going to copy this for each of my notes. E and F, A, B, C, D, E, F. Then for G and A and B and C high. E, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C high. For G, 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 A, B, 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 C high. For C high, C high, C high. We didn't make all of these things. So F, G, A, I'm going to leave a space. F, G, A, B, C high, E, F, G, 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 and G, and A, like that. B, 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 and C high, C high, C high. In the audio, it called the C high, C just with a CH. For my C high, it should just be CH without the I. Save that. Let's try that. Good. Does it disappear? Yes. Good. Nice. That's kind of long. Oh, wait a minute. These are too low. G. A. Yeah, that's my normal A. I need to go to my A high. If we look at our sounds, I have A high, the B high. So I need to go to there. The A should be AH, the B should be BH. Let's save those. That works nicely. Now I just need to get these to work. I'm just going to copy my B sound. This is going to be for my C sharp. Everywhere I have a B, I'm going to put there C sharp. Except for the name of it, I think it was C sharp. Let's see if that works for our C sharp before doing it for the others. Refresh. We don't have anything for CS. Let's save that, try that out. and it disappears. Perfect. So we just need to do that for all of our other sharps. C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, A sharp, A sharp, A sharp, A sharp, G sharp, G sharp, G sharp, and G sharp, and F sharp, D sharp. Let's try that one. Let's save that. Let's go back up to the top here. We have our C sharp, and we need to make a D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and then A sharp. Let's go back up. So we have our C sharp, D sharp, A, B, C, D sharp, D sharp, D sharp, D sharp, D sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and finally our A sharp and A sharp. Let's save that, and this one's not working. The F sharp. And that's low. The F sharp's not firing off. Let's see why. Here we have for F sharp, if note is equal to CS, so that should be FS, F sharp. Let's run that. Okay, and this one's low. It should be our A sharp high. The A sharp high, how is that named? We have A high, we have A sharp with an H on the end. Or A sharp should have a little H for high. Save that and refresh. And the piano is finished. Piano's finished, but we have to be able to get it to respond to the keyboard. I want different keys to fire off the keyboard. Let me go and get. To start, this is going to be my A, S, D, F, G, H, J, and K keys. At the very top, I'm going to put a command to say add a keyboard listener. We write window dot add event listener. What we're listening for is a key down event. So key down, my key down. We're going to make a function called my key down. Then we're returning true. Use capture. We're going to make a function called my key down. Let's go way to the bottom. Function my key down. Just paste that. And it's taking an event as an argument. We'll do a console log. Log. We want to know what key we pressed. I'll make a variable called my key, and that is going to be our event dot key code. And that's going to tell us what key we've pressed. Our key code, I'm going to write the word my key, is going to be the value of my key, like that. Let's save that and run that, and I'm just going to press the A. A is 65. The key code of the A is 65, and S is 83, D is 68, F is 70, G is 71, H is 72, J is 74, and K is 75. I'm just going to copy all that. Then I can just paste it into a comment like that. And I'm going to put a little if. We're going to make a decision. So if my key is equal to 83, we should be playing the C note. We're going to go up to the play note function and tell it that note is C. Go way back down here, indent a little bit. Play note C. And let's use our else. If my note is 68, let's play note D. 65, 83, 68 is going to be E. Let's try that. So A, good, that worked. And then if I press the S, perfect. And the D, then the F, nothing. So 83, 68, 70, 71, 70, 71, 72, 74, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we have C high. After 74, we have 75, C high. Let's save that and refresh. And so if I press A. Okay, so that totally works. Now we just have to get the black keys and we're done. The black keys. This is my A, and S is, so C is my A key, and D is my S key. Between the S and the A and above them is the W key. So this is going to be my W, E, so F happens to be F. This is going to be T. I want to get W, E, W, E, T, Y, and U. So I'm just going to copy up to the 85, copy that. Put that in my code. This is a comment, right? So a comment, you can write anything in here and the program won't run it or won't see it. You can write a comment by putting, let's say I wanted to say that this was the end of my key down listener. End of key down listener. So I could do something like that. You could also, between functions, I often do this. I'll just put a little comment and I'll put an underscore over and over and over again like that, and then I copy that. So it puts a nice spacing between my functions so I can see where one function ends and one function begins. These are comments. What I did up here was I put it in a comment so I could just keep track of these numbers. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black keys. I'm just going to copy the B note. My black notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull out the else ifs. If my key is 67, then that is my C sharp. Then we have D sharp. Then we have F sharp. Then we have G sharp. And then we have A sharp. 87, 69, 84, 89. Our U key was 85. I accidentally destroyed something up here. There we are. Function, my key down event. All right, so now everything's okay. Save that and try and run it. Press the W. There we are. Then the E. Then the T, Y, and U. So we have our whole keyboard. You get the idea. So that totally works.